What's up, guys? Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Caleb. I am in the marketing space, so I run a company that works with TikTok and helps brands their TikTok ads. I've been in the marketing space for about 2 years now, and I have nothing to sell you, no course or anything like that. I just plan on making a lot of content and building my brand in 2023. So all I ask of you is if this video helps you, please subscribe, leave a like or a comment. And yeah, nothing to sell you. So let's just get straight into it. So I actually ran my first marketing agency about 2 years ago, and I was able to scale this up to $10,000 a month within 2 months from me signing my first client. And so granted, it took me several months to learn and be able to sign my first client. So there was a big gap between when I first learned about the marketing space and signed my first client. But after I signed my first client, I actually was able to scale to $10,000 a month relatively quickly. And in this video, I want to sort of go over a few of the lessons that I learned throughout this process. This was back when I was running Facebook ads, so I actually no longer run this marketing agency. Now I work with Creative Talk, which is more TikTok oriented. But if you are running a marketing agency or you plan on running a marketing agency, I highly urge you to watch this video if you are currently below this mark, because it will really help you out and save you a lot of time, because these are all lessons that if I could go back in time, I wish so badly I would have known at the time. So getting right into it, let's start with the first one. And this might be a little surprising to a lot of you, but signing clients is so easy. And I know in the sort of SMMA space, it's made out to seem like this is the most difficult, this is the most important aspect of running a marketing company, is signing clients. And while it is super important, don't get me wrong, signing clients is not hard. It's actually very simple. And I have to make a distinction, because signing clients is easy, but signing qualified clients is where it's difficult. And this is what's important to make note of. Anyone who tells you that it's hard to sign clients, or that you need to do some specific strategy, or you need to get real technical and learn specific methods, they're trying to sell you a course. I can almost guarantee you that if they make it seem a lot harder than it is and more complicated and a lot more work than it is, they're trying to sell you on something. And so be very wary and take that advice with a grain of salt. I'll tell you exactly right now how to sign clients super easily. Find a method that works, whether it's cold email, cold DM. I actually used a lot of DM when I was scaling my agency, so a lot of Instagram DMs. Find a method that works and just go hard on volume. And I'm not talking send 10 emails a day or 10 DMs a day or like 50 DMs a day. I'm saying send hundreds of DMs a day, send hundreds of emails a day. If you do this and you also want to have genuine conversations with people, you're not just like a robot spitting out like an obvious copy and paste script, you will sign clients. You just have to have a lot of volume. Now, whether you use a virtual assistant to do that, to help you do this, or you just have a lot of time on your hands to do this, I promise you, if you do this, that'll work. That's all it is. That's all there is to signing clients. Now, the distinction to make is the real difficulty is when you actually have to provide the service. This is what I learned very quickly. I always thought that signing clients was super hard until I started signing all of my first couple clients. And I realized that signing clients is really easy. But once you have a lot of clients, providing the service and providing the service in an actual good manner, that's where it gets difficult. And the other difficulty is making sure that the clients that you are working with are qualified. I know for a lot of people, especially if you don't have any clients or you only have a few, the idea of signing a client is very, very nice. So you're sort of willing to take on any client, regardless of what they say. If they're willing to send you that invoice, you're going to sign them. And this is a mistake. And this is really the lesson I want to emphasize here is don't sign a client just because they're willing to pay you. You have to make sure that you're only signing clients that are, first of all, making enough money for your service. Second of all, are actually qualified. They have some sort of unique selling proposition so that whenever you provide the service delivery, it will actually work. Because even if you're really good at service delivery, if you're signing clients who are not qualified, you're simply not going to give them a good service. And so they'll eventually leave you. It'll leave a bad taste in your mouth and in their mouth, and then it'll just make it more difficult to keep pursuing your agency. So please make sure you realize that the real difficulty is in qualifying clients. So don't sign everyone that you possibly can. So I would say the lesson here is don't overthink client acquisition. If you have a lot of volume, plus you have genuine interest in your prospects and you have real conversations with them, plus you have a medium that works, whether it's DMs, email, really anything, then you will sign clients. Just have real conversations and focus on qualifying. So that's the first lesson. The second lesson is you are never really selling one service. And what I mean by this is you might be selling Facebook ads or TikTok ads or cold email. But in reality, you're not just selling these services. You have to be multifaceted. You have to have skills in all areas regarding the marketing of this business, because if a business is lacking in one of these areas, even if you have a really good service, they're not going to be succeeding as much as they could be. And this affects your success as well, especially if you're running on commission deals as well. So a common misconception is that you outsource service delivery, you sign a client, you send it over to your media buyer, and then you sort of take a back seat and it runs on autopilot. But this really couldn't be further from the truth. And I learned this the hard way whenever I signed my first client. I signed my first client and I basically assumed my media buyer was just going to handle it. But then I quickly realized, one, they had tons of problems with their website, with their Shopify site. Then I realized they didn't have any funnels. Then I realized there were issues with their backend on Facebook. So I realized I needed to have a lot more skills and I needed to know a lot more than I currently did. The truth is, you need to be omni-skilled. You need to have knowledge of how to build funnels, how to optimize people's websites, because all these little tweaks and changes that you could add or make to their company is going to help you as well. If you adopt this philosophy of just, I'll let my media buyer handle it, you're going to get crushed and you will lose clients. I'm telling you. So the lesson really here is just solve as many problems as possible. You want to genuinely adopt a mindset of serving your clients. And then in turn, I promise you, you will see the results of your labor. If you help your clients as much as possible in every aspect, you'll get more referrals, you'll get better results. And with better results, you'll sign more clients. It basically just helps you in all aspects. So don't go into this thinking that you can just outsource it to some VA in the Philippines and then they'll fix and basically save your entire life, because that's really not the case. Now, the third lesson, and this is super important, this is arguably the most important, is that you should never take your foot off the gas. I know in this space, for some reason, $10,000 a month is put on this pedestal. It's like this number that everyone idolizes and tries to attain whenever they first get started. But when you get there, it's kind of funny because you realize it's really nothing. You still feel like you're broke. You still feel like you're not really making any money. You're still doing a lot of work. Arguably, you're doing more work at this level than you are when you're making even more money. When you get to 20, 30K a month, you have a lot more resources and you can outsource a lot more stuff and build a lot more in-depth systems. But at this level, at $10,000 a month, it still feels like you're in the beginning. It still feels like you're a beginner, which is so hard to wrap your mind around, because for a lot of people, $10,000 is like the end goal. But when I got there, I realized that I still felt like a beginner. I still felt like I had no idea what I was doing. And I realized that it really isn't nothing. It's nothing. And so if you get complacent, things will fall apart insanely fast. And I can't understate that. Basically, the way to think about it is, once you sign your first client, this is the first moment when you have a business. And I'll repeat that. When you sign your first client, that's when you have a business. You don't have a business when you build a landing page and have an email list and all this BS. It's once you start having money coming in from a client, this is when you have a business, and you basically need to adopt the mentality of you are a different person now. You're not the same person as you were before. And if you don't adopt a new identity as a business owner, as a successful business owner, you're going to slip back into old habits. The old you will manifest itself again. And if your old habits come back, the results will manifest into your life. I promise you. And I know this from experience. This is what happened to me. I signed my first like 3 clients. After I had 3 clients, I was like, wow, I have all this money coming in. My media buyers are just going to handle everything behind the scenes. And I'm finally successful. But because of this, I got comfortable. And as soon as I got comfortable, it started wreaking havoc in my business. Basically, your internal world is going to manifest itself externally. So while I had a business, internally, my identity, I still identified as somebody who was new and didn't understand how the business worked. And I just didn't have a success-oriented mindset internally. I allowed myself to slip back into old habits because I was finally making money. Basically, I took my foot off the gas and I immediately started seeing devastating effects. In fact, 1 month specifically, I lost like 3 clients and I only had a couple. So this was like devastating. So I basically had to start back from the beginning. There's a concept called escape velocity. So when a rocket needs to get out of Earth and into the atmosphere, they have to reach a certain velocity or else they just won't break out of the atmosphere. And so it's the same concept in business. You need to pick up speed and keep speeding up and speeding up and speeding up until you have enough systems and resources in place that things actually can be automated and run without you being there. But until you get to that point, you need to just keep your foot on the gas, regardless of how much money you have coming in, regardless of how much your lifestyle is increasing. You need to just constantly be working, constantly be a student of the game. And this is really the only way to actually be successful, or else you're just going to everything you've built is just going to come crashing right back down. So just to summarize, never take your foot off the gas. Very, very important. You always want to be pushing, always want to be working as hard as possible. 2, you're never selling one service. You want to help your clients in all aspects, even if it's not exactly the thing you're selling. This will help you and your clients. And the first lesson was that signing clients, that's the easy part. Don't overthink that. It's really easy. You just need a lot of volume and you need to have actual conversations. But you need to qualify your clients, because if you sign anybody, you're going to learn the hard way. So hope these lessons helped. If they did, leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe. I plan on releasing a lot more content this year. So yeah, thanks for watching.